This week.
Well, that's not how I imagined work at Skychase.
Raised in the slums of dystopian Aran City at the very bottom of the food chain, you've got a goal to take it out. To survive and climb the ladder in the elite police force of Skychase, you'll have to deal with power shifts and gangs, dirty family feuds, corporate secrets, forbidden tech, and much more. Climb buildings at a native 90 FPS, vault through windows, and slide down cables with lightning speed. Explore open locations under the watch of snipers and drones, feel the thrill of close quarters combat with tactical shooter gameplay, and use your gadgets and hacking skills to outwit thugs and corporates. Stride Fates launches this week on PSVR2, and just a heads up, while other versions of Stride Fates will include 2 DLC packs at launch, the PSVR2 version will only include DLC 1 for now, as the second pack is still being ported over and is expected within the next 2 to 3 months.
And you get creative at Skychase. All the time.
Become a pro goalkeeper and aim for the best clean sheet in history by shutting out real-life footballers in this thrilling VR sports app. Cleansheet Football lets you focus on fitness and quickfire mode, where you block thousands of high-speed shots while seeing how you stack up on the leaderboards, or train using set play mode, where you can challenge yourself against shots recreated from real life. Cleansheet Football launches this week on PSVR2.
Are you ready for this?
Bring it on.
Cooking Simulator VR launched this week on PSVR1, and could very well be the last PSVR1 game ever released. The developer said there was a minor goof at launch, but beginning May 17th, if you have one version of the game, you should be able to get the other for free. As I mentioned on the last week's episode of PSVR This Week, the murder of Sherlock Holmes made its way over to PSVR2, but when it appeared on the store earlier today, it was somehow twice as much as the $10 Quest version and the $10 Steam version. I've reached out to the developer for comment, but in the meantime I checked it out, and it might be a decent escape room game. It looks okay in the headset, but it only supports teleportation and click turning, which I know for a lot of us is an instant turnoff. The other game that hit PSVR2 last week was Thief Simulator VR Greenview Street, which turned out to be a shining example of the kind of quest sport we simply don't need on the headset. The environments are basic, the frame rate stutters even after 2 patches, and there are loading screens between all the main locations. Like Sherlock Holmes, I think there's a decent game somewhere here, but unfortunately, first impressions were not good.
Three, two, one.
Go!
Okay, for those who don't have very good rhythm.
Made by the team of 3 friends from Australia, including the original creators of Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride, Spin Rhythm is a kinetic rhythm action game where players move, tap, slide, and spin to the beat, all while traveling through reactive backgrounds. Featuring over 60 tracks from an amazing list of artists, plus 2 DLC packs from Monster Cat and Chill Hop Music, Spin Rhythm is set to launch on PSVR2, July 9th.
Do you need a getaway from all the hardships of the last couple years? Then join the Snow Scouts.
skiing adventure game Snow Scout just got listed on the PlayStation Store, but all is not what it seems. According to a Reddit post by the developers, the listing is simply to gauge interest in a PSVR2 port, and they'll only consider doing it if they can get about 5,000 people to wishlist it. It seems practically no one bought their last game, Rainbow Reactor Fusion, and the studio likely won't ever recoup the money they lost on the port, so they don't want to make the same mistake twice. So, if you want Snow Scout to come to PSVR2, go wishlist it, and tell me in the comments what you think of this practice.
For nature and become a true Snow Scout. Relax in your ski hut after a hard day of work, because tomorrow will be another day, full of excitement.
Originally slated to launch next month on PSVR2, Wanderer: The Fragments of Fate just got pushed back to September 12th. The developers are citing needing a bit more time to polish the game after having rebuilt it from the ground up in Unreal 5 and implementing their new next-gen VRAF systems. Knowing how amazing Wanderer on PSVR1 was, this new version with extra content and all new gameplay mechanics should very much be worth the wait.
Let me explain. It begins with you inheriting me, a time-bending watch. Unfortunately, you've also inherited a rather hefty burden.
Better Than Life Studios just submitted their long-awaited KAYAK VR Mirage update to Sony. The developers have been super quiet about what this update will contain, but our best guess is that it'll include new maps and a real-time multiplayer mode. We should be getting all the official details very soon. Last week's news segment, Why Isn't This on PSVR2 Yet?, got a surprising amount of love. So let's keep the ball rolling with this week's submission from Aceville VR, and literally thousands of other game cats who want Super Hot VR on PSVR2. Now listen, as we said countless times before, a port of Super Hot VR would be a no-brainer, but if they took the extra step and bundled it with a VR version of the original Super Hot FPS, well, that would be pretty much the greatest thing ever. So get over on Twitter, retweet this, participate in the poll, and let's make our voices heard.
Free to play.
Every week, our good friend Professor Lilith organizes a multiplayer meetup over on our Discord. It happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and this week we'll be playing 8-player Vegas Infinite. If you can't make this week's meetup, don't worry, it happens every Sunday at the same time. So make sure you click the link in the description below.
This week.